Welcome back, guys. Thanks for joining me again today. I have one quick short update to bring to you. This is yet again another update from Zimbabwe. Check this out. This title from straight out of Zimbabwe. It says Manhize Steel Plant ready to start operations. This is really big news for the country of Zimbabwe and the people of Zimbabwe. So this news is talking about a steel production plant that was funded by, a Chinese company has invested about $1.5 billion to build this steel production plant. So this is amazing. I guess for some background on this project, so just as I already mentioned, so about $1.5 billion was invested to build this steel plant, which was completed in Manhize, which is an area near Mvuma in the north of Zimbabwe. So let's just check out this map to get your bearings right. They started construction a few years back, and the project has been built in just really record time. They've built it really quickly and efficiently, and they've come to this point where they're ready to commence operation, which is amazing. So they pretty much just report that I guess the company behind this project has already started mobilizing raw materials to the plant, with approximately over 50,000 tons of stockpiles of coking coal on the site, which is what they use to, fire up the plant and, make the steel. For some more background, really, so the company that's operating in Zimbabwe that was building this steel plant is called Denison Iron and Steel Company, and I guess just colloquially called DISCO, which is quite interesting. They are just one of many subsidiaries of a Chinese company called Xinjiang Holdings Group Limited. Pardon me if I butchered the name of the Chinese company. This whole thing has been spearheaded via a Chinese investment. They've poured in a lot of money to make this project happen. So the amazing things about this project is that it will go a long way in reducing the cost of raw materials in sectors such as the construction industry that heavily rely on steel in development of structures, like building bridges, buildings, etc. According to the Engineering and Iron and Steel Association of Zimbabwe, since the closure of ZISCO in 2008, at the height of hyperinflation in Zimbabwe has been spending over $1 billion worth of steel-related products imports annually from countries such as South Africa, India, and China. So, right there, you can see the added value of this new steel producing plant being built in Zimbabwe. Because as I just said, we are currently estimated to be spending about $1 billion importing all these raw products, importing all these steel products from other people around the world. So this will be a game changer locally within Zimbabwe. So we're spending a lot of money to bring in stuff, and now this will be a game changer for the country. I guess for other context, ZISCO was a Zimbabwean government-led company. So this was something that the government was, this is a company that the government owned and ran themselves. So now, obviously, since it shut down, it's mostly just a private enterprise that's spearheading this whole initiative. More interestingly, apparently this project is touted to be Africa's largest integrated steel plant, and this whole thing, kind of adds more value towards the people of Zimbabwe, and also I guess the initiative that the central government has for Vision 2030 to bring in more investors into the country, more jobs, better economy for Zimbabwe. This development has been very fun to follow because it's a step in the right direction for Zimbabwe. It's a step in the right direction to showcase what's possible in Zimbabwe, to showcase that yes, you can come and invest in Zimbabwe, and something positive will happen if you invest in the country, because there's a lot of potential there. As it currently stands, Zimbabwe has a vast wealth of iron ore waiting to be utilized for financial gain, and this will change the landscape in Zimbabwe. As I already mentioned, people in Zimbabwe had been purchasing a lot of all this steel and iron or whatever from externally, and now this will be a massive turning point. So now the question is, how does Zimbabwe compare to other iron ore producing countries around the world. If you look at this, it says Zimbabwe is currently ranked about 69 out of 128 other countries that produce iron ore for export. These estimates were taken from about 2022, pretty much just saying that Zimbabwe exported about $2 million worth of iron ore, making it the 69th largest exporter of iron ore in the world. And at the same time and year, iron ore was the 79th most exported product in Zimbabwe. And that exported product, the biggest buyer of our resource was Mozambique. So they're the ones that accounted for that $2 million worth of exporting value that we gained from our product. If you look at this graph right here, this is just comparing all the other big players within this whole iron ore production game and for export. Australia is currently the biggest player, as you can see from how much of this chart is accounted for by Australia alone. So in 2022, they were able to produce over $87.9 billion worth of export dollars to the international market. This is just ridiculous. And they account for about 55.4% of the entire market share. And currently, like I already mentioned, Zimbabwe is we're ranked number 69. And with this new plant coming into play, this is surely going to utilize all the iron ore we have within the country and increase our export quantity and the dollar amount we gain back from that by unimaginable sums. This is crazy. So I'm really excited for this about this update, and look forward to seeing what else they do. This is more positive news coming from Zimbabwe, more positive news coming from Africa. Please tell me what you think about this update. I'm excited to see what they do, what else they do, how much iron ore they produce and other products they produce. Thanks for listening in today. If you enjoyed this topic, please subscribe, and I'll see you on the next episode. Bye.